members really are excited about all the changes that have happened at Groton Hill Music and really want to be invested in the future, and felt like by organizing, we would have a guaranteed seat at the table to help make some of those decisions that affect our future. My name is Mary-Lynne Bohn, and I'm principal trumpet of the Vista Philharmonic Orchestra. We perform at the Groton Hill Music Center in Groton, Massachusetts. And this new Performing Arts and Education Center was built 4 or 5 years ago. It was really become a game changer for our orchestra. We had always performed in basically high school auditoriums up to that point, and now we're performing in a tremendous state-of-the-art concert hall. And I think that excitement really made the orchestra interested in making sure that we have a direct communication and some input on our future going forward. So, which was kind of the impetus for us getting started with this organizing effort.
And when did you form your union at Vista Philharmonic?
We just voted to form the union in May of this year. It's been a fairly long process, but one that everyone has been excited about for quite a while. So we're happy that we're moving forward.
And how did you become involved in the organizing effort at Vista Philharmonic Orchestra?
And I've been a member of the orchestra for over 30 years, and a good chunk of that time I was also on the orchestra committee. So we had done several surveys in the past few years, and the last one we asked members whether or not they were interested in organizing, because so many other orchestras in our area have organized. So we had a very positive response to that. Over 80% of the people who responded did want to organize. So I think that we became the de facto organizing committee. From that sense, there were 5 of us, and that's how the whole CBA process was born.
And what are some of the issues that inspired the organizing drive in your workplace?
I think, like many orchestras, pay and job security were probably at the top of the list. We are part of a regional area that has a number of orchestras, and we always are competing for players. So we want to be competitive in the pay sense so that people will consider playing for us and not always chop us off the list at the beginning. And as I said, I think that members really are excited about all the changes that have happened at Groton Hill Music and really want to be invested in the future, and felt like by organizing, we would have a guaranteed seat at the table to help make some of those decisions that affect our future.
And what was your experience working with the organizers and staff of your international union, the American Federation of Musicians, or AFM?
It actually was a very great experience for us when we had done an orchestra survey to determine whether or not members were interested in organizing, and over 80% of our members responded and said that they were interested. So we reached out to the local in Fitchburg, and they're a fairly small local, and the president decided that he needed assistance because he hadn't organized a large orchestra before. So he went directly to the national, and we were immediately assigned a negotiator and someone to help us with dealing with the card signings. We were given legal advice on how to proceed. Symphonic Services Division provided training for all of us. It's really been a great and very comprehensive support for us in our process.
And how has your workplace already changed since forming a union?
I'd say that people are very optimistic about the future now. I mean, we've really only had one concert since the vote went through, but people were definitely energized and excited about all that's to come.
What was it like having conversations about organizing with your coworkers and going through the union organizing process?
We had a mixed bag. Quite a few members of our orchestra are already members of other organizations that are organized, so they kind of understood what we were trying to do. We do have a number of um, younger musicians who perhaps were not members of the local at the time, so we needed to just kind of give them a sense of the benefits of being able to organize as a large unit, so that we could ask for pay raises, and we could ask for improvements in working conditions, and we could have job security and have solid processes in place for auditions and grievances and, excuse me, leave of absences. So we were fortunate. We had several hours of training sessions with an AFFM negotiator who helped give us some tactics and provided some practice sessions for us to have those conversations, because sometimes it's a little difficult, especially if you run into somebody who's not interested at all and you're trying to convince them that this is actually a good thing for the organization.
What advice would you give other professionals going through the union organizing process?
I'd say that communication is probably the top thing I would recommend. First of all, being able to survey the members to make sure that this is actually what they wanted, being able to have those communications and conversations, I should say, with the players who were on the fence about what to do. I felt like speaking musician to musician was a really valuable tool, as opposed to, trying to disseminate information in other ways. Our final vote actually was 80-8 in favor of organizing. So we felt like all of our conversations were effective and came out in our favor at the end. So we were pleased with how that process went.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me about your experience forming your union.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.